want the truth? You want the facts? Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. Secret societies, Freemasons, the Illuminati, Bohemian Grove. From history to the present day, there are those behind the scenes in the shadow government that are controlling everything. Listen to Crazy Wolf Radio with your host Robert Bruce, who will shed light in a dark world. Crazy Wolf Radio with your host Robert Bruce on Crazy Wolf Media. Go to www.crazywolfmedia.com. Folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network. This is The Truth Experience right here for the 6th of July, 2017. How are ya? Still trying to fight the aftermath of a sinus infection, so if I sound like I'm... Well, if I sound bad, then that's probably why. So anyway, how you doing? You doing good? Because, you know, hey. So what has gone on in the last 24 hours? First off, I want to say hello to everyone listening. Hello. So there you go. Yeah. What have we done to secure our freedoms? What have we done to secure our freedoms? You can look back in history and you can see all kinds of stuff. But the fact of the matter is we have gotten tired of people ruling over us as if they were kings and all that, you know. We got tired of it. And, well, we did something about it. When you look in history and you see what we've done. Now, here in 2017, we're seeing a bunch of people getting really, really, really pissed off at the fact that Trump is president. I mean, I'm talking, name it. Okay. Now, obviously, he's still going to be president. The propaganda is that the Senate has filed impeachment, proceedings or engaged in impeachment proceedings. This ain't going to happen because the House is not going to sign off on it. Okay. So what they're doing is just, frugal. They're just not going to, it's not going to happen. Okay. Just not going to happen. So, everything that we know from history has shown that people, you and I, have been, well, let's just say, one, pissed off, and two, able to get up and go do something. Okay? Now, when you look at history, when you examine the United States of America specifically, you'll see that there have been many people who have been pissed off and have gotten up and done something. Okay? And this is true. When you look at history, this is absolutely true. This is what it is. I mean, there is no other way of looking at this because history has shown you, yes, this is what has happened. My whole point is this. Do something. We're pissed off right now. Do something. Don't go out in the offensive and create chaos because it's already being done by the mainstream media, by, the social justice warriors, the Saul Alinsky'ites, the people that want to create chaos. They're already there. The chaos is there. Our purpose and our responsibility is to defend this nation against enemies, foreign and domestic. That's what we do. Okay? When you look in history, that's what we've done. So do something. Okay? Do something because, we have to. All right? Now, of course, when you begin to do something, you have to be, use common sense, logic, and make sure that, things are a certain way and, make sure you're safe, number one. But make sure you know what you're doing. Plan it out, and that's what these, when you look back in 1773 in Boston at the time, and the group of people got together and decided they don't like King George taxing them. So they, came together, disguised themselves, went over to the shipyard, got on the ship, and just tossed the tea over. Okay. Now, the question is, how did they feel? What was going through their minds? Well, they were pissed off. They were pissed off. They were mad that they were being taxed way over. They were being overburdened with, financial theft called taxes. And they hated it. And it just wasn't, it was that day and that was it. No. That had been going on for years. It just culminated in that night when these people went out to the shipyard and dumped the tea in the harbor. So it had been leading up to that point. This is led up from, and I'm going to say this as much as I like the guy, from the Bush administration to the Obama administration, and even now, we're looking at those people on that side of the aisle, and I'll just say it for what it is, the Progressive Party of Democrats and Republicans. These people are going to try to shut down America, the United States, through filing impeachment orders and all this, that, and the other thing. And they're going to try like hell to get rid of this president. Why? Because they want to spend money, throw it away, go involve themselves in foreign wars like our founding fathers warned us not to do. They just want to, they make money out of chaos. They make profit out of chaos. They make a living creating chaos. This is what they do. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to sit back and watch that MSNBC bull crap? You're going to sit back and listen to, listen to those shills on the mainstream propaganda media? You going to sit there and watch that bull crap? Because I guarantee that those people are paid to perpetuate chaos, to sensationalize the chaos, and to tell you that, yeah, it's okay, this is what we're doing, and it's going to be better, and we need to do it. And they create the chaos. causing people to get all pissed off for the wrong reasons. And then, of course, chaos reigns. Chaos is out there. It's all in the streets. Social justice warriors, destroying things, burning down cities, remember Ferguson? All that. And then we, the people, look at it and go, why isn't the government coming in and stopping this? Well, they're the one that created it. So anyway, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to remedy the situation in your town and in your city and county and in your state? How are you going to remedy it? Well, we can vote the people out. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. They make it seem like you're person one. But all it is that it's one big massive party with two factions, and they're being funded and operated by the same freaking people. So your votes don't count. The offices in which your particular politician goes into was bought and paid for months before they even, ran. They didn't know who was going to be there. Well, actually, I think they did, but that office was bought and paid for. So it doesn't matter. Your votes don't count. And go look at it. Go look at it. Go examine why your votes don't count. So here we are on the 6th of July, 2017. People are probably still, at the tail end of celebrating Independence Day a couple of days ago. And we have the audacity to think that we're free. And what? We're not free? Of course we're not. If we were free, do you think we'd have to do the things we do and get a license for it and whatever? Now, there's reasonable expectations of doing business. I mean, I get that. You do need a driver's license, but do you really? I haven't looked into that as much as I'd like, but we're free to travel from state to state all over the country. The only time we need a passport is when we go south or north into Mexico or Canada, respectively. But one state, I think, has a domestic passport. You have to have one to travel in its state. Well, yeah. This is happening, folks. This is happening. Let me look this up. Domestic. Oops. If I learn how to spell domestic. Passport. I'm looking this up. Now, here it is. From WDWinfo.com. 9 states will need passports for domestic flights in 2018. Travelers in 9 states will require more than their driver's license starting January 22nd, 2018. Early this year, warnings about this came out from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, but on Thursday, December 15th, 2016, the TSA began hanging the new rules going into effect at their checkpoints nationwide 2018. Travelers from Kentucky, Maine, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Washington will all now require alternate forms of identification, like a passport of military ID, to pass through TSA security checkpoints. A passport, permanent resident card, or a military ID will all work as an alternative. According to travelandleisure.com, the 9 states failed to meet the standards set by the Real ID Act of 2005. The Real ID Act of 2005 set requirements for state driver's license and ID cards to be accepted by federal agencies like the TSA. The security measures set forth by the Real ID Act of 2005 require states to have driver's licenses that, quote, verify every ID applicant's identity, put anti-counterfeit technology in production of the card, and conduct background checks on those who issue driver's license, unquote. Of the nine states, some of them may be rewarded an extension if they change their ID policies. Only 24 states and Washington, D.C., are in compliance with the Real ID Act of 2005, and many of these states have already been given extensions. But by 2020, all states will be required to have compliance with the Act. Update. There's an update. There's a graphic at the Orlando airport. There's a graphic for this. And I'm going to put that on the truthexperience.weebly.com. That's the website, but I'm going to put this on the Truth Experience on Facebook. And yeah, you're going to have a domestic passport to travel within the United States of America under the Real ID Act of 2005. You get that crap? You understand what's going on here, right? You get how this is working now, right? I mean, seriously. That graphic and that, I'm going to put that article on there too for you guys to check out. Put it in the comment section here. Now, there's so many things that we have to pay attention to. This is just one of them, folks. You're starting to see your right to travel being limited by policy. Okay? You're starting to see it being limited by policy. Your rights are being slowly taken away. Your rights are being slowly taken away. You don't believe that? You don't believe your rights are being taken away. You don't believe that this government would ever do anything against its own people. You don't believe that. Well, I got news for you. Yeah. Excuse me. Fighting the tail end of that damn sinus infection. And I use the word you as in a general sense, not for anyone specific. But you feel as if, well, you view the world in such a way to where you think everything is just fine. And not everything is fine. And here's something else. I'll go into this direction here. From Information Liberation, Chris Menahan reports, Chris Kobach reports claiming 44 states, quote, refuse to give voter information, unquote, or quote, unquote, fake. Excuse me. CNN reported on Wednesday that 44 states, quote, have refused to give certain voter information, unquote. Vice Chair of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Election Integrity, Chris Kobach, said Wednesday only 14 states, not 44, are refusing to give Trump's commission voter data, and media reports to the contrary of fake news.
There's a whole bunch of stuff there that you should be reading. There's a small video by Paul Joseph Watson. We'll put that on The Truth Experience on Facebook. Go check that out. If you would, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, big sigh. Big sigh, because, all this news is for you. All this news is for you. You need to know this stuff. Okay? You do. Now, when you look at places like MSNBC and you begin to look at, what they're doing, what they're saying, how they're saying it, specifically how they're saying it. It says here on Breitbart, an article by Jeff Poor, mentions MSNBC's Joe Scarborough. Trump attacks on U.S. President, Intel in Poland, quote, nothing short of disgusting, unquote. That's what Jeff Poor says. Obviously there's a video. It says video is loading. Yes. Jeff Poor, 6th of July, 2017. Thursday on MSNBC's Morning Joe, host Joe Scarborough ripped President Donald Trump for his response to a question lobbying him to admit Russia interfered with the 2016 presidential election. They didn't, by the way. All the evidence shows that they didn't. In response to the question, Trump said questions remained about claims by the media and the U.S. intelligence findings. To raise those questions, which Scarborough perceived to be an attack, was, quote, nothing short of disgusting, unquote, according to the Morning Joe host. Quote, as we said before, you're on foreign soil, he said. Quote, this is remarkable. I remember being very, very critical of former Majority Leader Harry Reid for attacking George W. Bush when he was in Russia, called him stupid and an idiot or something like that. I forget exactly what the words were. And for a sitting president of the United States, Willie, to be on foreign soil, we can't really underline this enough. Attack America's intel community on foreign soil and attack America's free press on foreign soil, long seen by dissidents and others that are suffering in the prisons of autocrats, as Ronald Reagan said, a city shining brightly on a hill for all the world to see. For him to attack American institutions 2 days after the 4th of July on foreign soil, the day before we meet America's chief adversary, is nothing short of disgusting, unquote. That is what Morning Joe Scarborough, said. I'm putting that on The Truth Experience on Facebook. What's disgusting is that we've got people out there like Joe Scarborough used to be a congressman. Okay, so we have people out there that are as disgusting as this man. Yeah, Joe Scarborough. Go look him up. I mean, seriously. And he's in Poland, I think. Trump speech takes place at famed Warsaw Uprising Monument. The U.S. President, this is by AP, the U.S. President Donald Trump made his emotional address to the Poles, speaking at the foot of a metal and stone monument at the Warsaw Uprising, a heroic, I can't speak today. A heroic, there we go, but failed 1944 uprising by Poland's clandestine home army against the occupying Nazi Germans. Okay. I remember reading about that. And that was a bunch of people getting pissed off at the Nazis and doing something about it. Yeah, it failed, of course, but because, power in numbers, look, who was controlling the Nazi army. So, yeah, but these people actually did something. Okay? The monument stands near the still existing entry into the city's sewer system that the insurgents and civilians used to flee the area as it was being overtaken by the Nazis. At least 150 Poles, both fighters and civilians, died in the fierce street fighting in the uprising. So President Trump talked in front of that. I remember talking to a woman a few years back, probably 2012, somewhere in there, 2014, I think it was. And she told us she was a teenage girl in Poland when Hitler came in. He didn't even, and she's telling us this, he didn't even come in and set up voting or anything. He just came in and took over. Yeah. This woman that we talked to was in her 90s. And she had a very distinctive Polish accent. Now, she lived history, and this is when Obama was president, and she told us to our faces, she told us what is happening in America right now happened in Poland when she was a teenage girl. Now, or when she was a girl. People like that I've talked to throughout my years. I've talked to people who came from Germany, who came from Poland, who came from Switzerland, who came at the time when World War II was, really ramping up. And these people lived the history that we learn about in our books. And these are the perfect people to talk to because they were in the middle of all of that going on. I remember working with a woman years ago at a job I was doing. And she talked about how her family in Germany, when the air raid sirens went off, they all, they were in the middle of eating and they just, went down to the basement and hung out until the air raid sirens went off. I've talked to other people who were over there, American soldiers, people that I know and family and friends and stuff like that, who were over there, who said that what the news was reporting over here at the time never happened over there. So there were certain things that our media was hiding or that our government was not saying. And you can move up forward into history in the late 50s, early 60s, same thing. Our media would not say anything. In 1964, we had what was called the Gulf of Tonkin, which never happened because CBS News went down there to the docks when the ship came in, and they were going, "What happened? Your ship was attacked and all this," and the people on the ship are going, "That never happened." So CBS went, "Oops," and took off. This all came out in declassified documents and stuff, and yeah, you can go look it up. Seriously. So I don't want to sit there and belabor the fact that media is corrupt, because I think we all know it. It is what it is. I'm going to put that article on the Truth Experience on Facebook. So there you go. I had a cousin who went to who was in the Navy and went to Vietnam. I knew family and friends who went, and I'll tell you what, I could feel the tension when I was a kid, because in 1973, 74, actually, my brother was sweating bullets, as he says, because he knew that when he graduated in 75, he would be drafted right into the war. He knew this. He later on he told me, about it as well. And he says he was, as he says, sweating bullets. He goes, I'll pack up and move to Canada or something. Well, fortunately for him, in 1974, Richard Nixon, before quitting, decided to bring the troops home and, repeal the draft. So my brother was like, oh, thank God. He didn't want to go. He is, he just, he'll take care of his family. He'll do it here, but he didn't want to go elsewhere. And I knew a lot of people like that. They didn't want to go elsewhere. They thought that what was happening was stupid. They knew that. And they didn't want to get shipped off someplace. So, anyway. Folks, I got this phlegmy crap going on, so I'm going to take a break and take care of that. And, so I'll be back in, let me look at one of the breaks. 2 minutes. Let's make it 2 minutes. I don't need to go any longer than that. I'll be back right after this. This is The Truth Experience on American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the main website. It's our backup site. We're working on the main one. And if you want to go to thetruthexperience.weebly.com, check that site out. I would appreciate it. Folks, I'll be right back right after this. You know what you want. You want the truth. You want the facts. Without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Distorted Reality. I am your host, Nick Tucker, and I welcome you to the broadcast.
Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. DistortedReality.podbean.com and Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on American Liberty Radio Network.
There's a show that's not afraid to ask questions no one else will ask. Not afraid to say
what no one else will say.
Friday nights at 7 p.m. Listen to Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie, where no topic is off limits. Conspiracy theories, paranormal activities, hoaxes, the unexplained. It's what we talk about. Question everything. Trust no one. Restricted Airspace with Tina Marie. Friday at 7 p.m. on the KCOR Digital Radio Network out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hey folks, how you doing? Welcome back. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. That's our backup site. We're working on the main site. And there are, now, I'm just going to throw this out here. We have Hollywood going completely out of their freaking ever-loving minds because Trump's president. So, because of what Trump is doing, because of what President Trump is doing, we see some cracks in the ice. The proof that InfoWars is winning and the globalists are collapsing is in how far the reach Alex Jones and InfoWars has spread. And it says, look into the rise of alternative media and a fall of globalist-run propaganda outlets. So that's a video, and I'm going to put that on the Truth Experience on Facebook. Alternative media is the way it is. I mean, you want the truth, you want the facts. I mean, specifically American Liberty Radio Network and others. You know, Brian Lang and Nick Tucker and Robert Bruce and others. You've got to understand one very practical thing because it's in your face, and that is the mainstream propaganda media lie to you all the time. Okay? All the time. I don't want to hear it anymore, and I'm going to say this again because I've said it before. I'm done with ignorant people. I'm completely done with ignorant people. I don't want to deal with them anymore. Ignorant in the sense that they're ignoring the obvious. There are some really stupid people out there that don't know anything. I mean, you can go to YouTube and look up Mark Dice and all of the little street interviews that he does with people and the questioning that he does with people on the streets. And you can find that there's a lot of stupid people out there. Just a ton of stupid people. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's amazing. I cringe every time I hear one of those people that Mark Dice interviews. Westmonster, 6th of July, 2017. This is westmonster.com. Pro-open borders Clooney, quote, leaving UK amid terror fears, unquote, subversive elitists fleeing mess they helped create. Pro-border activists George and Amal Clooney are planning to leave the UK because they don't feel safe after the recent spat of terror attacks. Spate of terror attacks, according to a Family Insider. The celebrity power couple have used their fame and fortune to push for open borders and even sat down with Angela Merkel herself to express their support for her refugee policy. But now it seems like all lovies, is that what it is? They don't actually mean they support it for themselves. So will they be moving back to L.A.? Because according to, well, let me read this again because there's some. They might be thinking about moving back to L.A. George doesn't, Family Insider said, George doesn't, quote, feel like Amal and the twins are safe living in the English countryside, unquote. That's why they're moving. So I'm going to put that on the Truth Experience on Facebook. I have to ask, and I always like asking questions because I want you to interact with me and let me know. If you were faced with something that was so horrific, here, let me give you a scenario. If you walked out of your door to mow your front lawn and you saw military personnel and vehicles on your streets moving into position, what would you think? Now imagine that over in these third world countries, you know, over these other semi-industrial countries too as well. Because we get that. I mean, there's military personnel on the streets of Iraq. You see it. It's there. Okay? CourthouseNews.com is reporting California closer to creating a sanctuary state. Quote-unquote, California Values Act intended to prevent state and local law enforcement from cooperating with, quote, Trump deportation machine. Over objections from sheriff's unions and California Police Chiefs Association, the California Assembly Judiciary Committee took a step forward to making the Golden State a sanctuary for undocumented immigrants. Well, I'm just going to stop right there and let you read the rest of that because, yeah, I've got something to say to that. Truth Experience on Facebook. The Truth Experience on Facebook. Right there. It says published and voila. There it is. First of all, California's done. I've said it before. You know my feelings about California. I grew up there. I was born and raised in Stockton, California. I left when I saw the writing on the wall. I kept going back and forth between that and Reno, Nevada. And then I saw the writing on the wall in both of them, and I'm like, well, you know. So then life happens, and you get together with somebody, and, you know, myself and Diana Nelson, the host of Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, we decided her kids moved from California to Montana, to, you know, out east in Montana. And so life happens, and things happen, and, you know, we decided, okay, let's go. Let's just move to Montana because I myself personally saw the writing on the wall in Nevada. I saw the writing on the wall in California. I knew it was collapsing. Nevada will be, within the next 5 years, a sanctuary state. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But if Governor Brian Sandoval doesn't get up off his butt and kick out all the corporations that are funding him and put a stop to all of that, yeah, Nevada's going to be a sanctuary state because the legislature is going to look at him and veto every opposition, legislation that he puts forward. Okay? So, California's done. California is completely done. It's now a communist state. It's now a sanctuary state. It's like Spencer Hughes at spencerhughes.net says. It's a police state. It's a police state. That's what it is. I can't describe it any other way than that's what it is. When I was living there in the 90s and in the early 2000s, I can tell you this much. It was a police state back then, and I knew it. I would tell my friends that I was working with and other people that I knew, we live in a police state. And they're looking at me going, oh, that's not right. Why do you say that? I've always had that. Why do you say that? Because I'm looking at the facts and the truth of what's going on around us as opposed to what you're being told in the propaganda media. And they're like, nah, you don't know it. You're one of those conspiracy theorists. Yeah, let me tell you something. I was right. I got to pat myself on the back. I don't usually do that, but I got to pat myself on the back. I was right. It's okay to pat yourself on the back every once in a while. It's all right. When you know you're right, you're right. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, I did not vote, and I specifically did not vote for Donald Trump because I am a nonpartisan political person. I host the show, have hosted this show since 2009 in various incarnations that I've had it. And I can tell you, I did not vote because I just didn't. I'm registered nonpartisan to just give you straight up what it is. But I don't vote. Well, why are you saying anything again? Because I have a right to say it, and you people who voted have a right to say anything you want as well. But guess what? Who turns out to be right most of the time? Yeah, the people that don't vote. The Alex Jones Show, 3rd of July 2017, there's a video, Trump's message to the fake media. This is Trump saying this, quote unquote, I'm president, you're not. The POTUS continues trolling the MSM. Trump reminds the mainstream media who's in charge. Now, some people might take that as saying, well, he's controlling the media now, and he's, that's what Hitler did, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you people are a bunch of freaking idiots. Okay? That's just, it's a video, so check it out. The people telling me that I'm a conspiracy theorist and I don't know what I'm talking about, blah, 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 and all that, they're just all up in my face, and they don't like the fact that I got the truth and the facts, and they don't. Yeah, they're pissed off at the fact that I'm right. Now, going back a few days to the 30th of June, 2017, Project Veritas exposes CNN's master deception selective editing techniques. Failing CNN exposed as true perpetrators of fake news. Russ Verney. You can go back, and this is a video as well. Russ Verney joins Alex Jones live via Skype to break down a new video released by Project Veritas that gives a cut-by-cut look at the selective editing techniques used by the deceptive news network CNN. I'm giving you all of this stuff, folks. If you want to advertise on the network, you can. Go to AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page. All of the information is right there that you would want to know. But if you want to donate to the American Liberty Radio Network, become a patron. Yeah, click that link right there on the sponsors page on AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com and drop $1 in the kitty. Yeah, there you go. That's going to be a win-win situation for both of us. You advertise on the network, you get your product and service advertised. You're sponsoring a show that is based truly on the American values of peace, freedom, liberty, and security. And we win. That's just the way it is. If you have any questions, of course, you can always ask. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Now, the Daily Caller, back a few days ago, the 2nd of July, 2017, reported on the University of Hawaii professor saying, I don't trust white people. They need to lose more. Let me put that on The Truth Experience on Facebook. I'm not even going to read you any more than that. Yeah, this is bullcrap, folks. University professor in Hawaii said that. So, you know, I don't get it. I just don't. I got another question for you. And I'll put you in a scenario, a hypothetical scenario. Okay, you're at work, you're hanging out, you're doing that, you go on break. Somebody comes in the room and they start, this whole President Trump, he's an idiot. And they start just railing against the presidency. And they say how bad he is. And they just go on and on and on. Well, they take a break from their rant. They just, stop saying anything. And here's my question to you, would you talk to him about it? I myself personally would look at the guy and say, okay, you said all this stuff bad about Trump, that he's, doing this and doing that. And of course that would get him started again, I'm sure. And I would wait till he was finished. And then I would say, can you prove anything you're saying? Can you prove it? Can you just lay all that information on the table and prove to me that he is as bad as you say he is? Can you do that? Give it about 30 seconds and that guy would walk out of the room. Because people like that cannot prove anything they're saying. They're just, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yeah, you do. Number one, you got to prove it to yourself. Number two, you got to prove it to me because I said so. If you're going to make accusations and assert and make claims, then, yeah, pretty much logic states that you have to prove it. I mean, that's my question to you. Would you say something to that person? You see? Or would you just sit there and go, I don't want to get involved with this? I volunteered a certain place here in Billings, Montana, and they're Sanders supporters. They're Hillary supporters. And I'm not. How do you think that works out? Well, number one, we don't talk politics. That's how that works out. That's as easy as it gets. We don't talk politics. And so it works. But what works is that we do talk about it. We do express, not where I volunteer, but we do, as individuals, have a certain perspective that we have, and we can express ourselves about that perspective that we have on what we perceive to be right or wrong, indifferent, whatever, because we live in the United States of America. Now, problem number one, the federal government, Washington, D.C. specifically, the city-state that we call Washington, D.C., at that 10 square mile piece of land between Delaware and Virginia. They don't want you and I to have free speech. So they send out their minions, funded by the likes of George Soros. We have social justice warriors, we have Alinskyites, we have, Orwellians, we have people out there spreading disinformation to shut down our free speech. And that's their purpose. That's pick a little here, take a little there, push a little here, arrest these people for having free speech, put signs up that say free speech zone, if you remember the Bundy Ranch thing. And by the way, side note, when we were living in Reno, Nevada, we went out to the marina in Sparks, the Sparks Marina, and there was a bulletin board out there by the parking lot. And I walked up to the bulletin board. I got a picture of this. I walked up to the bulletin board, and I saw right there, it said free speech zone. And right in small letters, it said that little grassy area right beyond that sign, right behind that sign, a little grassy area right there was your free speech zone. Out of the way of anybody. There was apartment complexes right across the street. So if you were standing behind that sign, nobody would see you. I want to challenge you folks right now. I want to challenge you because I want to interact with you. Okay. This is an interactive type of podcast and live broadcast. So I want you guys to interact with me. In your city, where you live, do you have signs that say free speech zone? Take a picture of it, send it to me. Take a picture of it and send that to me. Do you have signs that say free speech zone? You can put it on The Truth Experience on Facebook. You can send it to me at American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. Or you can pop it, just share it with me somewhere. Okay? I want to know. Do you guys have free speech zones, signs in your city? But we have this idea in our heads that has been forced there by the indoctrination techniques of the mainstream propaganda media to tell everyone, hey, it's great. Don't worry about it. This is what's going on. You got opposition here. You got opposition there. You've got this. You've got, and let me be the first to tell you, if you haven't already heard it from someone else, let me be the first to tell you that the mainstream propaganda media that you see, MSNBC, CBS, Fox, ABC, NBC, just all of them, even the ones on Sirius FM or Sirius, XM, that's what it is, XM Sirius. When you hear what they're saying, I'm telling you right now, they are lying to your face or in your ears, depending. Because they don't want you to know the truth. They don't want you to know the facts. They don't want you to know who's behind the curtain pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. They're not even going to share that with you. They're going to give you fluff. They're going to give you just the surface, just enough to pull you in to their shows. They're just going to give you a little bit to pull you in, and then they're going to slam you with disinformation. You see what I'm saying? With American Liberty Radio Network, you don't get that. You get straightforward, in your face, truth, facts, hardcore. That's it. And that's what I built this network on. That's what this is. And as far as I'm concerned, people who like that will support it. And there's others out there, not just me. There's Nick Tucker at Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. There's Brian Lang at LiveTruthRadio.com. There's Michael Vera at Late Night in the Midlands. There's, I can give you a whole bunch more. But American Liberty Radio Network is just one of many who are, well, basically showing you exactly what you need to know. And not, pulling the wool over your eyes like the mainstream propaganda media. Now, you may say, well, what do you have to offer? I have information. Now, let me also say this. I will say this. I don't know everything. The articles that I read mostly are articles that I see for the first time. And then I put them up on the Truth Experience or American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. So I'm telling you firsthand what it is. I'm not, reading it earlier and saying, well, I'm just going to gauge it here and put it here. And no. I read it to you exactly how I'm seeing it, and that's the way it is. Now, some people would lead you into certain areas by teasing you with certain elements of what they're saying until they get to a point, and then it's blam, they give it to you. And then, you have to make up your own mind after that. I don't do that. I give it to you straight up. I don't even sugarcoat it. That's what American Liberty Radio Network does. We don't sugarcoat anything around here. I say we as if I got a mouse in my pocket. It's me. What you're hearing is me. I am American Liberty Radio Network. But I need your help. If you want to go to the sponsors page and look at that and become a patron, great. Thank you very much. Virtual high five to you. But I need your articles. I need your websites. I need all of that because American Liberty Radio is you. You are a part of this growth of freedom and this defense of liberty in the United States of America, and you have a key role to play. That's what I've built this network on. Sharing with you the facts, the truth and the facts without all the BS. Sharing with you the truth, one fact at a time, without all the BS. And I know that my listeners understand that. I know my listeners are smarter than me in some areas. Great. Fantastic. Here's a virtual high five for you. There you go. Seriously. You guys can send me your information. Let me know what's going on in your area. Go ahead. I challenge you. I want to interact with you. I want to hear what you have to say from your point of view. And the Truth Experience is going to change a little bit because I'm going to start adding a few clips. I'm probably going to get some interviews in here, and it's probably going to go an additional hour, but not today. And the next time I do this, hopefully, cross my fingers, I got to get some email in. I get a confirmation from him. I'll get Nick Tucker on, and we'll talk generally about what is happening in the political arena. We're both, as he likes to say, and I agree, we're political atheists. I'm nonpartisan. I don't care about political parties. I don't. They're corrupt. I'm nonpartisan. I don't know. So hopefully I can get him on next time. I was trying to get him on today, but it just didn't work out. He's got a family. He's got stuff to do. Okay, seriously. So hopefully I can get him on. And I'll give it a shot tomorrow and see what happens. If not, then you're going to hear an American Liberty Radio podcast. So we'll see if I can get the Truth Experience fired up tomorrow with guest Nick Tucker. Hopefully. If not, we'll just go from there. One day at a time. So if you want to advertise on the network, please go to the sponsors page on AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Check it out. Become a patron if you don't want to be an advertiser and drop $1 in a kitty and help us keep the lights on around here. Folks, you guys rock, man. I'm going to get out of here. Go away now. And American Liberty Radio at USA.com is the email address. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com is the website. Talk to you guys later. American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.